man, this is like naval laser attack. Oh, Hagaraki appears. Oh my god, I was waiting for this moment. It's like, I can reflect your light, baby. Now we can see your looks too, man. Oh, this is beautiful. She appears out of nowhere, and it's like, you traitor. Oh, this is just beautiful. She comes into the same Deku. She presses the light, right? I mean, I love from a science standpoint because she can revert. She's, invisible. Oh, it's beautiful, man. She was waiting in the forest for like 10 minutes. She jumps in there, like, I got you, naval laser. I knew you were a traitor, yeah. She appears and stays like, oh man, it's beautiful. Oh god, it's honestly, this is a great way to reveal how she looks to her because she can again refract the light. But because he has light powers, right, and she could reflect all the light, so she's finally shown how she actually looks to it. It's beautiful. This is very beautiful. It's very well written, man. I love it. Hagaraki is revealed. Oh, it's just beautiful, man. Saving Deku. Oh, but it's beautiful as a story aspect, but also as a scientific aspect. But yeah, it's like a very nice mixture of both, science and storytelling, man. It's really beautiful. Go for that thing, yeah. I mean, obviously, poor naval laser will become a hero anyway. That's pretty clear, I would say. Tear up a little bit at the end there. That was sad, man. We see poor naval laser. I think the best thing still was, of course, when she jumped out, though. Invisible girl jumped out. That was beautiful, man. When she come out there and yeah, but it made me tear a bit. But the thing with naval laser, right, is that I feel sorry for him. I really do, because it doesn't feel like he's the actual bad guy. It's more his parents, right? If you go to that scene there, yeah. But it made me tear a bit at the end there. He's crying there with them. He's stuck crying because like I feel he's actually, I was, but no, it's kind of like naval laser is innocent, right? Because I really do blame his parents. He obviously betrayed his friends or whatever. But again, right, he was a kid and he didn't have a quirk or whatever. His parents were like, oh, you buy him a quirk from the main bad guy. And then his parents were like, oh yeah, but we have to, pay back the main bad guy. So you have to betray all your friends. You have to go into school and betray them and, send them out. But it wasn't like he had a choice, right? His parents were really like forcing him into it. So what could he do in that situation, right? Like his parents already, his parents put him in that position to begin with, right? So that's pretty dark in that sense. Like, it's not his fault. I think that's like a huge, thing to it, right? But anyway, let's review it. So, what's the best scene? Maybe this one. I do kind of like this scene more though. Now she was jumping out there. That was great, man. That was beautiful. This in here. She would jump out there. And I remember, as a side note, I remember seeing the manga panel, right, of Yuga Aoyama, where she was shown on the manga panel or something, or like not the manga panel, but like the front cover of a manga volume. I'm anime only. I read the manga after the anime, right? But yeah, I remember the controversy. The author is just like, oh yeah, he's the Invisible Girl. Yeah, it was like very, very. It was very revealing her appearance. Yeah, I was like, whoa, is this thing? But anyway, let's talk about our poor dear traitor friend, Navel Lazer. First of all, I wasn't surprised for a second, right? So in that sense, the episode wasn't like this, oh my god, shocker traitor. Like, yeah, of course, didn't all figure out he was the traitor? It felt a lot like, well, yeah, it's Navel Lazer, right? I think we all knew it. Obviously, for the character to say it, her crying, Becky crying, and so on, that's all makes sense. But I mean, from a viewer standpoint, it wasn't very shocking for me, because I always expected him to be a traitor. You know what I mean? I was like, he's obviously a traitor. So I was like, yeah, okay. Because she's sad, because she's like, you betrayed me, you were best friend, or whatever. Yeah, of course. But from a meta standpoint, I didn't feel much shock at all. Especially with the cheese scene, right, a few years ago. That was very much like because then he basically explained his backstory, right, to some extent to Deku and to us the viewer then, so we kind of knew that he didn't actually have like a correct quirk and so on. So yeah, this seems really fishy, very, very fishy. But anyway, the best thing of course was when she jumped out. I love that. She was hiding there in the forest. She was the first one to actually, of course, figure out that he was a traitor, right? And then he was attacking Deku. She's like, no! She comes out there, and it was a great writing, because of course her power is that she's invisible, but she actually is refracting light, as it's called, right? You can change how light bends, basically, right? So, for example, if you have light going into water, it bends, and you have different angles. You can calculate how much it bends when it reflects and so on. And you have what's called Snell's law, how lighting bends and different stuff. And you have everybody has an index, right? So glass has an index of 1.5, water is 1.33, and so on, right? Whatever. So light always bends, right? So her power basically she can bend light from her medium, ergo being her body, right? So she can easily just remove his powers. But by doing that, she was still like revealed to us, right? To us, the view, how she actually looks, of course, because there was so much light that she couldn't revert all of it, right? So to speak. So she was revealed, right? So I think it was a nice writing, yeah. Because basically, again, from a physical standpoint, right, she's invisible because she's constantly removing the light from her body, right? She's refractoring it, but so much light couldn't be refracted, and then she was revealed how she looks. So that's some smart writing there, straight up, right? How these powers works or whatever. And it's a nice touch how she jumped in there after being hiding there for a while, right? But otherwise, I have to say I found it strange writing though, at the same time, because she had this like moment, right, Invisible Girl, yeah, which again was nice. But then after the next scene, when they're with All Might and Mike's hands and so on, right, and they're interrogating, of course, the family, right, not just Naval Lazer, but the whole family, she did nothing. Yeah, so I felt that was a little weird because I felt like the episode built. I mean, it was this a cool scene, but I wish she also was more active in the actual like dialogue with them as a traitor, right? Yeah, but she was just like no. So after she had a cool moment, she was like ignored for the episode. So that was a little weird. I thought she was gonna have more of an impactful like. I mean, honestly, I would prefer if she was the one that was explaining what if we have him as a double agent or something. It'd be cool. If she was the one that was not pushing instead of Deku, right? Federally, the basic is making Deku as always being the one to redeem everyone and believe in everyone as well. But anyway, like I said, right, to go back to Naval Lazer.
なんか着空戦が終わった頃から元気がなかった。
Final for your traitor is.
緑谷くんが戻ってきてからも君は笑顔。
It's Naval Lazer! I always knew it! I said it! I said it over again! I'm gonna be shocked honestly. I always said he was traitor. He's not even a quirk, man. He's a fake quirk guy. His parents basically bossed him a quirk, right? Yeah, he was born quirkless. We know that with the she scene. I said so. Oh god. Honestly, he was obviously a traitor though, because he was always like with the whole she's thing, and he couldn't use his powers, and his quirk hurt himself, right? Because he wasn't born with that quirk, so his quirk doesn't make any sense for him. That obviously that's what he's. Yeah, now they owe him for giving him the quirk, right? But it was like it's obvious from the beginning, I would say. The poor Naval Lazer was always, man. So it's gonna be Deku being like, Midoriya-kun! Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm a villain! He admits it.
Midoriya-kun.
I've always been a villain.
クズのヴィラン。
I feel for the poor guy, right? Because, like I said, Naval Lazer is for me very innocent in a sense, actually, in a way, right? Of course, he did betray his friends and so on. But like I said earlier, and this is, iterate again here, right? It's just like, yeah, but his parents were the one that forced him into this, right? He wasn't, like, he straight up was not, say it. I mean, there are many people to look at it, but first of all, he did not, how to say it? He wasn't like a student, and then he betrayed them, right? In that sense, he's technically not a traitor, because he never actually was on their side, so to speak, right? He was always infiltrating it from the beginning. He was never actually on the good side. He was always evil, a villain, right, in a way. But the important difference is that he never actually, like, he wasn't a student and then he got a bribe or took some money to, betray them, whatever. No, he was always sent there by his parents, basically, right, to, betray them, right. So in that way, he didn't actually betray them. And like I said, it's important difference because it means that he never had much of a choice, right? Because again, it keeps coming out that his parents were the one that, of course, oh, he has no powers or whatever. Yeah, okay, we can buy some powers from this bad guy, and then now we have, now we owe the bad guy money or our lives or whatever, right? So to speak. So we have to, use our son as, leverage or whatever. You have to send him in there. So what could he do about that? I mean, clearly the bad guys are his parents. They're clearly at fault here, and obviously, main bad guy with the corporate. Of course, he's always the whole all for one for all, blah blah. Obviously, but his parents are definitely more at fault than he is. I mean, again, right? It's kind of like if we ignore the whole, this is the main bad guy and he does this with everyone and his plan is out, and I like his explanation. He was like, oh, I have all of these paths going on, I've given powers to people, like he's been planning this, like, you know, different seeds of evil or whatever. He's been like dark seeding people everywhere. If we ignore that, right, his parents are clearly at fault anyway, because if he didn't exist, right, if he didn't have the whole all for one for all, so on, ignore those quirks, right, his parents still clearly went for like experimental stuff, right? Oh, our son has no quirk. What if we give him this like drug or whatever? You know what I mean? They would buy that like superpower drug from those guys in Tree, right? The Yakuza, whatever. Yeah. His parents are kind of like that. They were like, well, what can we do? You know, give you some roids, you know. So they're clearly thoughts, right? He didn't have a choice. He was like a kid, and his parents kind of forced him into it. But I liked it in the general backstory that his quirk, as we know, is very weird. Like it hurts him. He has this weird power. He was a belt and so on, right? And that's also why I assumed he was a traitor. Why I wasn't shocked, right? Because his quirk didn't make much sense. And the episode, of course, with him and Deku are, when he talks to Deku about this thing, the traitor radar was massive for that, right? He came off as a traitor massively. But then my point is that, you know, when that happened, I like how the backstory now basically motivates that, right? Because, yeah, his quirk is kind of weird. And as we know then, he wasn't born with his quirk, right? Or his power or the belt or whatever. So it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, it makes sense that he has this, how say it, you know, unusual self-damaging quirk thing that it's just, you know, unnatural to him to have, right? Because everyone else basically have a quirk, they obviously have like protection against their own quirk, right? More or less, right? You know, which is very common for any kind of superhero setting, right? Where, well, usually the main character or the character itself, right? But whoever usually have the quirk will also protect them, right? You know, usually the main character, like the Flash or whatever, he's fast and he can run fast without getting hurt by stuff because his fast power also protects him from the issue of being fast or whatever, right? That's usually how it is. So Naval Lazer having this quirk being like, oh, they hurt him and so on, yeah. No, Naval Lazer having a quirk that just straight up was very weird, very hard to use, this weird belting, for me always felt very strange, right? And then we have the Shizi Deku. And I said it back then, I was like, he's obviously a traitor, right? Yeah. So I had zero shock value, honestly. I felt the best, yeah, I was like, yeah, of course. But like I said, though, I like how it kind of comes back to that his parents basically bought his quirk. So from a story aspect, it makes a lot of sense, totally. Yeah, because the parents were like, we kind of cheated the sister, right, to give him some kind of quirk. So yeah, it logically pans out very well. So I liked it a lot in the episode. Absolutely. But like I said, though, he comes back to that, you know, I think he's innocent in that sense, right? It's very hard to look at him in that sense, hard to look at him, hard to like analyze it, because it's like, yeah, your parents is like giving you an illegal quirk as a kid, wherever you're present, right, and it forces you to do crime. You're like, is it the kid's fault then? I guess you could do like Zeke, something like a Titan. He could betray his parents. he should be like Zeke and be like, my mom and dad is evil. Yes. He should immediately went to All Might. Hey, All Might, they sent me in there. Honestly, that would be interesting, and that's probably what he could have done. To be fair, what he could have done if he really wanted to be a good boy, so to speak, right, a good person, is he could have betrayed his parents immediately. He could have went to the good guys. Just have like, okay, can I have, you know, All Might, can we meet something like a Faraday cage or whatever? So basically, right, from a scientific standpoint, you have this thing called a Faraday cage. Basically like a cage you can't hear, you can't analyze, you can't go inside of it. Nothing, no signals, no radiation, you go out or in or whatever and so on. You have this stuff, right? So certainly these superhero guys would have one of those rooms, so probably more than one room actually in real life. But then anyway, my point is that when he started school, I guess he could have said, hey, All Might, can we talk about something? In this like secret cage room where nothing gets out or inside of it, right? So no one can like track us or like, you know, listen to him, right? And then he could have went in there and then told All Might or whoever, right? That, oh, actually, you know, my parents are evil and this thing and so on. Of course, he would betray his parents doing that, but I'm just saying that could be arguably what he could have done, right? Like tell them in this like secret bunker location where no one can hear what he says or whatever, and it's completely, you know, safe from any outside information, and then he would be like, yeah, I'm actually, you know, they sent me here to be a traitor, but I don't want to be a traitor, right? I'm betraying my family instead. But of course, from his standpoint, it's very hard to, you know, set up his parents, right? But yeah, I think he could have done that. Otherwise, I mean, he's like, you know, between a rock and a hard place, right? He has to either betray his parents or keep betraying his friends. Right? And then kind of leads us, of course, the conclusion, which is that Deku does the talk jutsu, and it's all like, yeah, let's still be friends, right? I still believe in you! No, but seriously, right? Deku does the classic thing, and I mean, the strategy is going forward, he's to be pretty straightforward, right, to speak. He's just gonna still be there, and he's gonna give information to the bad guys, but of course, now the good guys knows that he's giving information, so they're gonna select what information he sends, right? It's a classic double agent strategy, using him as, or you can still be in part of our hero team, and you have to just keep sending that, right? And then I guess they will like forgive him something in the end, right? So it feels like a lot, very, very like, it's honestly kind of a milk toast betrayal ending. Yeah, they're like, oh no, don't worry, we're not angry at you. Let's just keep doing it, but you work for us instead. Yeah, we forgive you. But like I said though, I don't hate it that much because, yeah, like his parents set him up to do it, right? Like I said, if he entered himself to school, his parents weren't involved. He had some money quirk or whatever, right? And then he's at school for like a year. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna betray them. I like the bad guys instead. You know what I mean? Then it would be a massive difference, but he was actually not, you know, so to speak, forced to do it. But now, yeah, I don't think this is too bad. Some people probably be angry at this thing that Deku and so one better God forgiving him, and they're like just allowing him to stay at the good guys as long as he works for them, right? But like I said, I like it, honestly. Yeah, I like it. I'm a little bit like, yeah, it's a little bit about Disney ending to his betrayal. Oh, whatever, we're still friends. Yeah, it's a little bit like, okay, it's super nice, but I like it because, like I said, I feel that Navel did nothing wrong. He's a good guy. He was forced by his parents, right? So he clearly didn't want to be a traitor, and they forced him to be a traitor, right? Or spy or whatever. He's rather a spy, I guess, if anything, yeah. Infiltrator spy, right? Technically speaking. They forced him to be a spy, and he didn't want to be a spy, but he kept forcing him to be that. And, you know, and then he's kind of like, oh, I can't betray my parents because then I go to jail or whatever. So he's like, oh, shit, you know. So, in that sense. But I would say that I would prefer if he actually kind of went to All Might or whatever, right? Not maybe immediately then, right? But it would be interesting if he had went to All Might after, let's say, you know, 1 year there. Then he felt that, no, I can't keep doing this thing. I don't want to be a spy. And then he would confess his crime to All Might or whatever, right? You know, voluntarily. That honestly become middle ground. If he started out as a spy and then he felt, no, this is bad. And then, yeah, that actually probably be the best course of action for him, right? He's just like, oh, wait a minute, what am I doing here? So a little bit maybe too easy on him. That they just like, oh yeah, whatever. No, just you're on your side. What is classic? But anyway, otherwise, I mean, the episode was decently paced. It didn't have too much recap though. It's just a random point. I want to bring it up, right? It's not as bad as season 5. Season 5 is still probably the worst season. Is it 4 or 5? I think it's 5, where they have like 10-minute recaps in several episodes, like insane amount of recap. This episode wasn't nearly as bad, but it certainly had a little bit of like, yeah, it was a little bit of like, okay, first minute we are recapping Stars and Stripes, and then we are recapping Shigaraki, we are recapping Stars again, we are recapping Bakugo a little bit, and this is like, okay, yeah, I see what you're doing here. It's like, they probably could have, you know, removed like 4 minutes of recap, right? So, again, it's not that like 10-minute recap, but it certainly could be better paced. And it's a little bit worrying. I think I am definitely worried that the anime will, you know, make those episodes where it's like 10-minute recaps suddenly, because they really want to space something out, and this was like halfway there, right? So I'm a little bit, yeah, it's probably too much recap, and I feel like My Academia, because it isn't a weekly show. It doesn't do an episode per week, right? But usually, roughly like in 1 year, they do like half this weeks. Like, yeah, it's basically like every second week show in a year, so to speak. I still feel it should have less recap, right? You know, I mean, it's just a little bit like that kind of quality could be better, right? Certainly. But anyway, guys, that's the end of this reaction. Tomorrow, I'm gonna do Demon Slayer, also probably live. So Demon Slayer as well, right? Except for that, guys. I'm gonna watch Kaiju number 8 after this in a few hours. And Kaiju number 8, right? I keep saying it. It's like My Academia, but worse. No, but seriously, it is. I mean, honestly, if you haven't seen Kaiju number 8, they straight up stole like the Deku saving Urikara. It's even the same episode, okay? I said it last week too, but the scene when Deku saves Urikara episode 4, right? That is almost exactly the frame by frame in Kaiju number 8, in also episode 4 of Kaiju. I was like, okay. But honestly, that anime so far, I'm not impressed by it. I'm like, it's fine. But this week, in a few hours now, they seem to actually start like the next arc or something, the next enemy or fight or whatever. So maybe this week is gonna blow my mind and be like amazing. So for that, guys. And I mean, I'm hoping. I want to be the guy like just like hoping. I want to enjoy it, right? I'm currently like I'm enjoying it, but I'm not loving it. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's how it is. I like it, but I don't love it. That's what I feel right now. So I'm hoping today is gonna be this like, okay, bam! Now the episode really shows why this anime is one of the new top shonen shows or whatever. But so far it's very like, it's okay, but there's nothing like special about it. And then of course One Piece also later tonight, right, or tomorrow, then, depending on your time zone, which is hopefully the start of the Kuma backstory. Maybe somewhere around there we're gonna get the Kuma flashback, right, which is gonna be devastating. But anyway, so you guys can have a great day.